All right, let's talk about something you've probably seen a million times: vitamin B complex. It's on supplement bottles, it's on cereal boxes, but what does that word complex actually mean? Today, we're going to break down one of the most essential and maybe one of the most misunderstood groups of nutrients out there.
I mean, think about it. You never really see a vitamin C complex or a vitamin D complex, do you? But the B vitamins, they're always in a pack. B1, B2, all the way to B12. So the big question we're tackling in this explainer is why? Why are they always presented as a team? Is there some reason they can't just, fly solo? Let's dig. And that leads us right into our first section. The answer really starts with that word, complex. And spoiler alert, it doesn't mean it's complicated. It means something else entirely. So here it is. The vitamin B complex isn't just one thing. It's actually a group of 8 totally distinct water-soluble vitamins. The best way to think about them isn't as a random collection, but more like a super specialized crew on a job site. They've all got different roles, but they're all working together on one massive project, keeping your body's metabolism humming along. And that's the absolute key here. They are a team. Okay, so if they're a team, who are the players? Let's get into our next section and do a proper introduction. We're going to meet the whole B team, and we'll even give them some nicknames to make their jobs a little easier to remember. All right, first up, let's meet the energy crew. You've got thiamine, B1, who we can call the energizer. This is the vitamin that grabs the carbs you eat and gets the ball rolling on turning them into fuel. Then there's riboflavin, B2, the protector. It helps with that energy conversion too, but it also fights off something called oxidative stress, which is basically just daily wear and tear on your cells. Next, we have niacin, B3, the circulator, which is crucial for energy and for keeping your circulation in good shape. And rounding out this part of the crew is B5, the synthesizer, who's busy in the background building essential fats and hormones. So you can see, this group is all about starting that energy production line. And now for the other half of the squad, the master builders. We've got B6, the mood maker. This one is so important for creating neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers like serotonin that have a huge impact on how you feel. Then there's biotin, B7, the metabolizer, which helps your body process pretty much everything: fats, carbs, and proteins. Then we have folate, B9, the cell creator, which is a fundamental building block for life itself. And last but not least, B12, the nerve guardian, which looks after your nervous system and helps make red blood cells. It's pretty clear they all have these incredibly specific and incredibly important jobs, right? Let's just zoom in on one of these for a second, just to see how critical these roles really are. Let's take folate, B9. We called it the cell creator, but you could also call it the body's master architect. Why? Well, every single time one of your cells divides and makes a copy of itself, it needs folate to get the DNA blueprint exactly right. This just goes to show how fundamental these vitamins are, right down to our most basic core biology. It's amazing. So, we've met the individual players, but the real magic, the whole reason it's called a complex in the first place, is what happens when they all get together and team up. And that brings us to our third section, how they actually work together. This quote really just nails it. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. This is the core idea of synergy. It means that these 8 vitamins, when they're working in concert, can achieve so much more than they ever could on their own. Inside your body, they're constantly interacting, handing off tasks to one another in this perfectly choreographed dance of chemical reactions. And this, right here, is a perfect example of that synergy in action. Let's just walk through how you get energy from your food. So first, you need B1, B2, and B3. They're like the initial demo crew, breaking down the carbs, fats, and proteins. That's step 1. But then B5 has to step in to create a special molecule that actually carries that broken down fuel to where it needs to go. Without B5, the whole process just grinds to a halt. And finally, you need B6, B7, and B12, so your cells can actually use that energy. You see, it's a chain. If even one link is weak or missing, the entire process gets sluggish and inefficient. They all depend on each other. Okay, so it's crystal clear that this teamwork is essential. Which leads to the next logical question, right? How do we make sure the entire team is showing up for work every single day? That takes us to our next section, all about fueling your body. And really, the answer comes down to one word: variety. The different B vitamins are scattered across a whole range of foods. We're talking leafy greens, legumes, meat, fish, dairy, the whole shebang. This is exactly why a varied, balanced diet is so critical. It's the absolute best way to make sure you're recruiting the entire B team and not just one or two of the star players. And just to really drive home why this matters in the real world, get this, up to 40%. That's potentially how many people in some Western countries might have less than ideal levels of vitamin B12. This isn't some rare, obscure issue. It just goes to show that even when we have access to plenty of food, it can still be a challenge to keep every single one of these 8 vitamins at its optimal level, especially since things like our diet choices or even just getting older can affect how well we absorb them.
So what's the game plan? Well, food is always, always your foundation. It gives you the vitamins in their natural state with that synergy already built right in. Plus, you get all the other good stuff like fiber. But like we just saw, sometimes there are gaps. That's where supplements can be a really useful tool. They can provide a targeted dose if you know you're deficient or if your diet restricts certain foods. But you gotta remember, they're meant to supplement your diet, not replace it.
All right, let's pull back and look at the big picture now. We're going to tie all these threads together with our key takeaways from this whole explainer.
So what do you absolutely need to remember? First, the 8 B vitamins are a team, not just a random list. Second, they are absolutely essential for turning your food into energy. Third, they support pretty much everything, from your brain health to creating new cells. Fourth, the real power comes from that synergy, from working together. And finally, the best way to fuel this incredible team is with a varied, whole food diet. That's really the long and short of it. And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We've seen how the B team is designed by nature to work in this perfect, balanced harmony to keep you running at your best. So the question to ask yourself is this: is my diet giving them a real chance to cooperate and work their magic together?